This evening, Mohamed sues Bascom for incriminating him in the murder of paper shorts. Minister of Foreign Affairs visits Region 10. GECOM expresses concerns over unauthorized individuals visiting voters' residence. In the region, Vice President Kirchner's corruption trial divides Argentina, and internationally, Europe gas supplies, Russia shuts major pipelines for maintenance. Welcome to another broadcast of Channel 2's Headline News Updates. I am Bibi Bacchus. Thank you for joining us. Businessman and philanthropist Azruddin Mohamed have filed a $200 million lawsuit against Police Detective Sergeant Dion Bascom, whom he said defamed him regarding allegations about the killing of Ricardo Fagundes on March 1, 2022, outside of Palm Court on Main Street. According to the statements of claim filed by the businessman through his attorney Naresh Punai, Mohamed is seeking a judgment for damages in excess of $100 million, exemplary, punitive and/or aggravated damages in excess of $100 million, and an injunction restraining Bascom or anyone acting on his behalf from repeating the defamatory statements he had made about Mohamed. Mohamed claimed that on August 11, 12, 13th, and 19th, Bascom broadcast false and malicious claims in an effort to damage his reputation and greatly disgrace him. Mohamed stated that he and his father operates Mohamed's Enterprise, a business known regionally and internationally for trading gold. He further noted that he is well known for his philanthropy, his practice of the Muslim faith, and his successful car racing and sports team. According to Mohamed, his reputation has now been besmirched because Bascom made several defamatory statements about him. He further asked the court to issue an injunction prohibiting Bascom from disseminating the statements or anything similar thereto, whether through himself, his representatives, agents, or in any other capacity. The claimant further stated that on August 12th, his lawyer sent a letter to Bascom requesting that he retract his false statement, apologize, and pay damages. However, Bascom continued to post erroneous claims about Mohamed on Facebook. Before making his public claims, Bascom was one of 5 people detained during a raid on a home at Norton Street, Georgetown by the Customs Anti-Narcotics Unit. According to reports, Canoe officers carried out an operation and found 590 grams of cocaine on the premises. Despite being detained, Bascom was not given a charge and Canoe eventually freed him. However, Bascom went live on Facebook and levied several damning accusations of corruption against Mohamed and the leadership of the police force in relation to the killing of well-known gold dealer and biker Ricardo Fagundes, also known as Paper Shorts. Due to worries for the safety of his family, Bascom has since deleted those live videos. The Guyana Prison Service continues to demonstrate its compassion and generosity for the inmates through the Back to School drive. Esther Sobers has more details.
With schools across the country scheduled to open in the new month, excitement is running high among our little ones who are turning out into a new class. For many parents and guardians who are unable to provide their children with the most basic school materials, especially those who are incarcerated, it can inflict feelings of fear and anxiety. With this in mind, the Guyana Prison Service continues to demonstrate its compassion and generosity for inmates through the Back to School drive in the kids of current detainees. The kids of current detainees receive supplies they need to start the new academic school year. The 2-day exercise concluded on August 29, 2022 and was done at all prison locations where recipients benefited from backpacks, lunch bags, and daycare bags stocked with all related items such as stationery, lunch bowl, water bottles, baby wipes, flasks, and more. The officer in charge of prisoners' welfare and correction, Marilyn Bristol Grant, stated that the Welfare and Correction Department coordinated the activity as part of the Family Reconciliation Program. The time could not have been more fitting, and the items were carefully thought out to be beneficial to recipients. Ms. Bristol Grant emphasized that the inmate presenting the package to their children was most important to have them feel a part of the process and create a positive memory for the children. Director of Prison Nicolette Elliott noted that the initiative is aimed at ensuring that beneficiaries are provided with the basic amenities to attend school. Further, the prison director expressed optimism that the initiative will motivate the students to get excited about returning to school and face-to-face teaching. The initiative was one that is highly appreciated by inmates' family. For Channel 2 Headline News, Esther Solis.
Thanks, Esther. The Guyana Elections Commission, in a statement issued on Tuesday, August 30th, stated that it is once again in receipt of information that persons purported to be employees of this commission have been visiting homes seeking information about data in the preliminary list of electors. In this regard, it must be categorically stated that GECOM is not currently engaged in any such exercise, nor has the Commission authorized anyone, employee or otherwise, to collect information from any person or for any reason whatsoever through the house-to-house visits. An integral component of the ongoing claims and objections exercise requires registration staff and scrutineers to visit the given residential addresses of applicants for registration to verify that applicants live at the address they would have provided. The applicants are informed of this mandatory visit at the time of the registration transaction, and based on established standard operating procedure, GECOM staff and scrutineers must display their respective identification and accreditation badges throughout such visits. The statement further stated that GECOM is also cognizant that political parties may be currently engaged in their field activities. It is therefore appealing to all parties to ensure that their members do not identify themselves as representing GECOM. Given the foregoing, citizens are urged to be extremely cautious and to verify the identity of persons visiting their homes before providing any solicited information. Persons are asked to contact GECOM on the numbers provided on the screen to report any or clarify any concerns. Stick around after the break. Minister of Foreign Affairs visits Region 10 and cop sentenced to over 5 years in prison for causing the death of an elderly pedestrian.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny?
I want money for borrow for do a surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Furnishing your home or office has never been easier. Here at Kissoon's, our inventory of locally made and imported furniture, offered at amazing prices, will leave you wanting more. From vinyl, floor rugs and carpets, bedroom, dining and living room sets, mattresses, pillows, office desk, chairs and filing cabinets, outdoor benches and tables. We have a piece of furniture for every room imaginable in your home or office. Check out our flagship store at Industrial Site Rijnveld or one of our branches in New Amsterdam, Port Morant, Riverton and Camp Street. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 50 years.
Sooner or later you will have another power failure. Are you prepared for the next blackout? Some essential equipment such as security cameras, lights, internet, gate motors, and water pumps may stop working. How can you prevent the next blackout? InverterTech has an affordable solution for you. A strong UPS system which uses the latest inverter and solar battery technology to prevent blackout. We smartly calculate your average power demand so you don't spend more than you need to. Call 223-2233 for more information.
When you need money and you gotta get it fast, Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop is the place for that confidential transaction in a quiet and secure location. You'll get the highest value per pennyweight for your gold and also enjoy the lowest interest rates and longest payback period too. Yes, for that instant transaction to solve a pressing financial problem. That Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, 46 Boyle Place, that's between the Ministry of Housing on Brickdam and White Castle Fish Shop, be your first and only choice. Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, safe and sound, solid and secure, always there for you. Telephone 231-7878 and 223-8955.
Welcome back. The Ministry of Health is urging anyone with suspected signs or symptoms of monkeypox to call the ministry's hotline for medical guidance on 0449. Today, 2 persons have tested positive for the monkeypox virus in Guyana, a 50-year-old male and a 30-year-old female. The patients are said to be in a stable condition at the Infectious Disease Hospital at Liliendal. The transmission of monkeypox is through close contact with an infected person. Once infected, the incubation period can last from 7 to 21 days. Before the appearance of lesions, infected persons can experience symptoms like myalgia, swollen lymph nodes, swelling in the neck, and headaches. So far, out of a total of 42,666 infected with monkeypox in 95 countries worldwide, 13 deaths have been reported. Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Hugh Todd, visited Linden, Ituni, and Old England this week. Esther Sobers has the details.
On Monday and Tuesday, Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Hugh Todd, held a series of follow-up meetings in Linden Region 10, where he spoke with citizens of different villages and delivered on his promise. Minister Todd met with the people of Ituni and handed over a sewing machine to a seamstress who had made the request 2 weeks prior during the community outreach and expressed the new sewing machine would improve the quality of her work and help to train other persons who may be interested in learning the trade. Following up on another request, the minister presented the Young Peacemaker Football Club in Ituni with professional grade footballs and nets, along with cricket bats and balls. Minister Todd also presented the participants of the welding and fabrication program with a new computer. Minister Todd also accompanied Ituni residents to the local market and listened to their concerns regarding the enclosed market and lack of adequate facilities. He acknowledged the area potential and assured the residents that their concerns would be addressed to ensure they could feel safe and comfortably ply their trade. During a follow-up visit to Old England in Linden, Minister Todd delivered water tanks to 3 Friends Health Posts and Old England Health Posts to assist with constructing their sanitary blocks. Additionally, the minister met with residents of Buckville and West Wakata to listen to their concerns regarding land, healthcare, drainage, and access to facilities. He also distributed some 14 hampers to the most vulnerable person in Buckville. For Channel 2 Headline News, Esther Sobers.
Thanks, Esther. Stephen Ramsey, the constable attached to the Tactical Service Unit of the Guyana Police Force, who was charged with causing the death of an elderly pedestrian by dangerous driving back in 2021, was sentenced to 5.5 years of incarceration for the offense. Ramsey was charged with driving a minibus in a manner dangerous to the public at Nandi Park Public Road, East Bank Demerara, thereby causing the death of 59-year-old Dulmati Budlal on January 5, 2021. Ramsey made his first court appearance on February 6, 2021 and was granted bail in the sum of $600,000. However, after a thorough investigation, the magistrate recently ruled that sufficient evidence was produced to the court, which found Ramsey guilty of the offense. Subsequently, he received the 5.5-year sentence for the death of Budlal. The court heard that at the time of the incident, the East Bank 3-lane was activated and the minibus owned by the Guyana Police Force and driven by Ramsey was proceeding north along the western side of the Eastern Carriageway. While approaching the pedestrian crossing, Budlal crossed from west to east, and as a result, Ramsey swerved to avoid a collision, but due to the short distance, the vehicle crashed into Budlal. The 59-year-old woman was picked up by the driver in an unconscious state and taken to the Georgetown Public Hospital, where she was pronounced dead on arrival. According to reports, Budlal suffered a broken neck, broken arm, and bruises to her face. Don't go away after the break. U.S. Mississippi state capital runs out of drinking water, and Europe's gas supplies. Russia shuts major pipelines for maintenance.
When you need money and you gotta get it fast, Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop is the place for that confidential transaction in a quiet and secure location. You'll get the highest value per pennyweight for your gold, and also enjoy the lowest interest rates and longest payback period too. Yes, for that instant transaction to solve a pressing financial problem. That Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, 4-6 Boyle Place, that's between the Ministry of Housing on Brick Dam and White Castle Fish Shop, be your first and only choice. Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, safe and sound, solid and secure, always there for you. Telephone 231-7878 and 223-8955.
Furnishing your home or office has never been easier. Here at Kissoon's, our inventory of locally made and imported furniture, offered at amazing prices, will leave you wanting more. From vinyl, floor rugs and carpets, bedroom, dining and living room sets, mattresses, pillows, office desk, chairs and filing cabinets, outdoor benches and tables. We have a piece of furniture for every room imaginable in your home or office. Check out our flagship store at Industrial Site Rijnveld or one of our branches in New Amsterdam, Port Morant, Riverton and Camp Street. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 50 years.
Sooner or later you will have another power failure. Are you prepared for the next blackout? Some essential equipment such as security cameras, lights, internet, gate motors, and water pumps may stop working. How can you prevent the next blackout? InverterTech has an affordable solution for you. A strong UPS system which uses the latest inverter and solar battery technology to prevent blackout. We smartly calculate your average power demand so you don't spend more than you need to. Call 223-2233 for more information.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny? I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Welcome back. Now we'll take a look at what's happening in the region and around the world. The former president and current vice president of Argentina, Cristina Fernandez de Kirchner, is on trial accused of corruption. The verdict is due later this year, but calls by the prosecution to have her jailed have provoked angry responses from her supporters, Al Jazeera's Daniel Shimler reports.
The former president and current vice president of Argentina, Cristina Fernandez de Kirchner, is on trial in a case that's dividing the nation. The prosecution says she led one of the biggest corruption syndicates in the country's history. She calls it a political witch hunt.
Empieza el juicio con esta ficción.
This trial started with this fiction that was recounted by the persecutors over 5 days. During those 5 days, I listened to those accusations that were not accusations. They were a fiction, a script, a very bad one, besides being false.
Esta parte solicita se condene.
The prosecution is calling for a 12-year prison sentence and a lifetime ban on the vice president holding public office. One opposition politician even demanded her execution. In response, her supporters took to the streets outside her apartment in Buenos Aires. Police controlled by the opposition-led city government responded aggressively, provoking strong criticism from the national government, including the president Alberto Fernandez. Her supporters now keep a daily vigil outside her home.
When you put one of our main political leaders on trial in such a weak case, you undermine democracy, and a lot of blood has been spilt to win our democracy.
She did so much. The schools, the city metro, gave food to the poor, equipped the universities and gave a wage to housewives.
Cristina Fernandez de Kirchner divides opinion like no other. But this trial is about much more than whether she's guilty or not guilty. It's about how many Argentines see the future of their troubled country. A former president, the wife of a former president, and now Argentina's vice president, Mrs. Kirchner, has been around for long enough to have made plenty of friends and a lot of enemies. Her opponents view the former president as symbolic of the corruption that's blighted Argentina for generations. They want to prevent her standing again for president in next year's elections.
It will be historic for Argentina. The first time a female president convicted for a fully proven corruption crime Let it serve as an example for all.
It gives us hope that we still have justice in Argentina, and this has only just begun.
The verdict on Christina Kirchner and the 12 other accused is expected later this year. Whatever the outcome, Argentina will be divided by an increasingly bitter conflict. Daniel Schweimer, Al Jazeera, Buenos Aires.
Internationally, Mississippi's governor has declared a state of emergency in the U.S. state capital, Jackson, where residents have no drinking water. This comes after the water treatment plant failed. Al Jazeera's John Hendren reports.
The water in Mississippi's largest city is undrinkable.
Do not drink the water. I want to be clear. Please do not drink the water.
150,000 residents of Jackson, the state capital, cannot drink the water, cannot reliably shower, flush their toilets, or battle their city's fires. Governor Tate Reeves on Tuesday declared a state of emergency, one with no end in sight.
I can't give you a time frame as to when we will be pushing out safe drinking water.
Days of torrential rains have swollen the Pearl River, mixing sewage and drinking water and overwhelming the city's main water treatment plant, causing it to fail. With the city unable to afford the repairs, the state is offering emergency funding.
This gets into quite possibly the billions of dollars, and so that is far beyond the city of Jackson's reach to be able to accomplish that on our own.
Longtime Jackson resident Bernard Smith saw it coming and stocked up.
I always try to stock up on water supplies because that's stuff that don't spoil. In any instances, when you know you're in a zone where this happens, you don't just all of a sudden you add to your supply. They always told me a snake can't bite you if you see it first.
Jackson's population is largely black. A quarter live in poverty. It's one of many U.S. cities suffering water supply problems. And until it can restore its water treatment plant and fill its aging pipes, residents will have to make do with boiled water, bottled water, and plenty of patience. John Hendren, Al Jazeera.
And finally, Russia has shut down the Nord Stream 1 pipeline for 3 days for planned maintenance. It is the main link delivering gas from Russia to Germany and the rest of Western Europe. In recent months, Russia has significantly reduced the volume of gas transported via the pipeline. Al Jazeera's Dominic Kane reports.
This is the Portova compressor terminal near St. Petersburg, where gas meant for German markets is ready for delivery. And yet in these pictures, excess gas is being burned off, which is odd, because for months the volume of gas sent to Germany via the Nord Stream 1 network has been cut. And for the next 3 days, nothing will come through it. Part of planned maintenance, says Gazprom. Part of President Vladimir Putin's politicking, says Germany.
We are literally paying a price. These stoppages have been bandied about in talk shows and political speeches as a rhetorical possibility over the summer. But it's not rhetoric, it's a bitter reality.
Which is why ministers have spent months trying to find gas from other sources. Part of the German government's coping strategy depends on installations like this one, a gas storage facility at Rüdersdorf outside Berlin. Here it's already almost 95% full, and 95% capacity is the target the German government has set to be reached by the 1st of November. But storage of gas is only one aspect of the solution. One analyst says in the short term, everyone is being urged to use as little gas as possible.
Reduce demand in industry and households wherever you can. And not only industrial processes, but also in heat and heating systems, but also when it comes to electricity demand. And that's precisely why the government at the moment is trying to encourage all consumers, all sectors to reduce demand, because that's what can bring down the consumption.
In theory, full gas storage will only cover German needs for a few winter months, which is why the government has been building new liquefied natural gas terminals on its North Sea coast, so that the LNG shipments it's been buying in can help cover any shortfall in the coldest months early next year. Covering German needs in the longer term involves breaking with Russian fossil fuels forever. Dominic Kane, Al Jazeera, Rüdersdorf.
And that is it for today's regional and international news. Here now is your 3-day weather forecast. And that is all for this edition of Channel 2's Headline News Updates. Tune in on Thursday at 7 p.m. for another episode. Be sure to subscribe, like, and follow us on Facebook and YouTube. Until then, please take care of yourself and each other.